Hey y'all, I'm back for the fourth and final video, at least for tonight. Um, I'm going to look through your work and see if I need to do another one just to touch base with you as I get through grading some of your things. But I wanted to just pick up right here, and some of you may have already started drafting. Others are probably waiting on me, like, where did the world did Mrs. George go? She dropped off the planet again. But let me just go ahead and help you get started with planning. So I've opened up a new Google Doc. I prefer to work in Google, not Word, just simply because I know where some of the formatting tools are in Google. I need to become more Word proficient. But I'm going to go ahead and title my document Discourse Community Profile Essay. And remember, this is an informational essay. It's expository. It's not argumentative. So you're not arguing anything. You're simply telling me or explaining to me about your discourse community. I want to make sure that everything is set up before we get started. So I am at Arial. Remember, Arial or Times New Roman is preferred. If you are in Word, Calibri is the default setting for Word. Calibri is acceptable, but just make sure you change that to 11. And then you want to come over here, make sure it's left justified, left aligned. And then you want to make sure that it is double spaced and that both of these say add space after. Before I start typing, I also want to make sure I come right on over here and insert a page number. And I'm going to put my last name in front of the page number, and then I can come in and put the heading. So student name, the professor's name, the course, the section, and the day, month, year. Good golly, Miss Molly, that wasn't capitalized. And then I want to put the title. For your brainstorming, it does not matter if you actually know what that title is, but just put that section header for it. And then space down, and you want to do left align. Now, this brainstorming that I'm going to show you is simply just a traditional old-fashioned outline. I'm not going to do anything with the bubble map this time because for this informational expository, that Roman numeral outline just seems to be really clear and easy. So I'm going to start with Roman numeral 1. And most of us are familiar with every essay begins with an introduction. So I'm going to just remind myself introduction. That introduction is where I'm going to be putting just my overall focus of the paper. So again, a thesis statement for an expository or informational essay looks slightly different than it does. In fact, it looks vastly different than it does for an argumentative or persuasive essay. And so for right now, I'm just going to come in and put the placeholder. I'm talking to you about teaching and education as a discourse community. I would want to come in and really tell you about the when, where, the why aspect of it. I would even want to give you some more background information, possibly um, relevance or significance. Like, what is the bigger picture of it? And then I can go on into what I'm thinking about discourse communities. So remember, we really have this list that we can go by. So we have goals, we have mechanisms of intercommunication, we have information and feedback, we have genres. So these are the things that I'm going to want to make sure that I have in my essay. So mechanisms of communication. And I can include information and feedback. And then I can include genres. And then here's some specific, hello, vocabulary. What else was there? Let's see. Oh, I forgot set of goals. Let's start with the goals. Golden purpose. And then I'm looking at the threshold level of members that may not really be significant or relevant because it's education. So, you can't have education if you don't have teachers or students for them to educate. But I do want to look at the cell relationships. Um, and then we all know that every good academic essay ends with a conclusion. Impact on the global discourse community. Um, and relevance. So this would be, there we go. With each of these is where I'm going to, as I do my research or as I pull from my research, I'm going to want to say um, the definition, perhaps. So I'm going to want to define it. I'm going to want to explain it. I'm going to want to pull in some evidence from sources, maybe even some more evidence from sources. Maybe each of these has evidence from sources. I want to be able to talk about it. Same thing here. Um, so I'm going to leave these open and let's just get rid of that paragraph. And then you just see that's how you're going to build out each one, right? If I look at what I have right now, keep in mind your discourse community essay has to be approximately 1,000 to 1,100 words, so 900 to 1,100 words. If I'm looking at just what I have right now and just in this outline, and I know I don't have it fully built out, I can look at that word count. I have 53 words. That doesn't seem like a whole lot, right? But as I keep building it out, and let's just take this, I'm going to copy it, and let's just paste this right on over into every section, every subparagraph, right? Let's see what happens. I just want you to see how easily you're going to get to that word count when following this outline. Again, this is that very standard, very traditional. Notice I'm already on page 3, and it's just my outline, y'all. Now I'm already at 97 words, right? Ignore the 107 because they're taking into account the title, right? But I'm already at 97 words. So not too shabby when I know that that's what I have to hit. And I'm already at page 3. So as I'm building this out, I'm really taking in, I'm adding sentences, and I'm taking information from what I already know from my prior background knowledge, especially if this is a discourse community that I'm quite familiar with, and then taking in from what sources I have. Now, a couple of different things. First, this page where I'm starting my essay, I'm going to insert a page break because that is actually going to start on page 2. This not connected to the 900 to 1,100 words that are required, but this is going to be my cover letter. So be sure to check the section or the assignment settings because I want that cover letter where you're telling me about this writing process for you. And then here's the actual title of your paper. Now, also what I'm going to do is add another page break because I want to show you, good golly, let's add another page break. And this is where you're going to do your works cited. Because you do have to have sources to help you write this paper. We have to cite those sources so that we are not committing plagiarism. But I need to show you something as you are finding sources and you're copying them over. And we click that cite straight from the databases. Remember, you are using MLA. I'm copying this right on over. Notice I'm just dragging it. And then I'm pasting. I don't know if you can tell on your screen, but there's a highlight, like there's a light gray. I can tell that the formatting isn't the same. In fact, when I click on it, it's Arial size 10, and I can tell it's been copied. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to come over here to Format and Clear Formatting. It does take away the double spacing, but that's not a big deal. I put it back at 12-point font, and I come back to double, and then I still want to make sure it says Add. Now, there's one other thing I have to do to it while I have it selected. Notice how each of these is in alignment. It needs to be in a hanging indentation. So I'm going to come up here to Format, Align and Indent, Indentation Options, Hanging. And now it's the correct format. As I'm adding in my source information, I want to make sure it's alphabetical according to this first thing in the source. So for example, if I were to come over here and get a second article, and I'm looking at that source information, scrolling down to MLA, I notice that it starts with Oliver. So as I'm plugging that in, Oliver comes before Sawyer, and then I go through the process again. I clear the formatting. I make sure that's double spaced, put that at 12 point, and then indentation options. Now, if you have all of your sources already here, you can do them all at once. You can clear formatting all at once and it would work. And you can do the hanging indentation to select all of your sources. But now I'm alphabetical, Oliver, and Sawyer. But I've noticed something. Do you notice anything with Dana Oliver's name? I have to make sure it's not all caps. All right, so just make sure you've checked your formatting, make sure you've followed your outline for what makes logical sense for you, and make sure you've done your cover letter. Alrighty, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out.